Hello, and welcome to today's discussion. I'm Sonia.
And I'm Simon. We'll be covering several key stories in the world of finance and technology.
Let's start with Kotak Mahindra Bank's CEO, Ashok Vaswani, who has announced he will step down at the end of his term on December 31, 2026.
That's right. The reporting indicates it's due to personal reasons. What's the context around this decision?
The bank's board has launched a CEO succession process, considering internal candidates like Paratosh Kashyap and Anup Saha. Investors are likely tracking this closely due to its implications on the bank's leadership stability and financial performance.
So the succession process is already underway. How does this impact the bank's current operations and strategy?
According to the reports, the bank aims to ensure a smooth leadership transition and maintain continuity in operations and strategy. The board has started the process of appointing a new MD and CEO within regulatory timelines.
That's reassuring. Are there any concerns about the bank's financial performance under Vaswani's leadership?
Actually, the reporting suggests that despite some turbulence, the bank has remained profitable during Vaswani's tenure. Investors are likely watching how the succession affects future performance.
Got it. And what's the timeline for the succession process?
The new CEO is expected to be appointed within the regulatory timelines, but the exact timeline isn't specified in the reports. The current term ends on December 31, 2026, so the process is likely to be completed before then.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move on to another story.
SpaceX is set to join the NASDAQ 100 index on July 7th, which is expected to attract billions in passive investment. This follows NASDAQ's relaxed entry criteria, making it easier for companies like SpaceX to enter major indices.
That's interesting. What are the implications of this inclusion for SpaceX and the broader market?
The inclusion is seen as a positive sign of demand by some, while others, like Morningstar, have expressed concerns about SpaceX valuation. The move is expected to trigger a wave of passive buying.
So the valuation is a point of contention. How does this affect index tracking funds and ETFs?
The reporting indicates that index tracking funds and ETFs that follow the NASDAQ 100 will be affected by SpaceX's inclusion. This could lead to significant passive investments in the company.
Right. And what about the S&P 500? Does it have the same entry criteria as NASDAQ?
No, the S&P 500 maintains stricter entry rules. SpaceX's inclusion in the NASDAQ 100 doesn't automatically mean it will be included in the S&P 500.
Okay, understood. Let's discuss another story.
Former HDFC Bank chairman Atanu Chakrabarty has criticized the external legal review into his resignation, calling it unnecessary and stating he wasn't informed of its scope.
That's quite a strong reaction. What were the findings of this legal review?
The review, conducted by two independent law firms, found no evidence supporting Chakrabarty's earlier ethical concerns. The bank's board had initiated the review after his resignation.
So the review cleared the bank of any wrongdoing. How does this impact the bank's governance and future decisions?
The findings suggest that there were no governance lapses or board disagreements, which clears the way for CEO reappointment approvals pending with the Reserve Bank of India.
That's a significant development. What about Chakrabarty's concerns? Were they related to specific practices or happenings within the bank?
Chakrabarty had mentioned that certain practices within the bank weren't in congruence with his personal values and ethics, but the legal review didn't substantiate these claims.
I see. Let's move on to another story.
OpenAI has appointed Propjit Singh, former Uber India head, as its India managing director. This move underscores OpenAI's investment in the India market.
That's a significant hire. What does this mean for OpenAI's operations in India?
Singh is expected to lead OpenAI's India business, stepping up the company's investment in one of its top priority and fastest-growing markets globally.
Singh's background is quite impressive, having steered Uber's ride-hailing business in India and Southeast. How does his experience align with OpenAI's goals?
Singh's experience in leading Uber's business in India is seen as a significant asset for OpenAI as it expands its presence in the country. He's expected to drive OpenAI's growth in the region.
That's a great addition to their team. Let's discuss one more story.
About 3 million fewer people in the United States had Affordable Care Act health insurance plans in February compared to the same time last year, according to new federal data.
That's a significant drop. What's driving this decline?
Analysts attribute this to the expiration of federal subsidies on January 1, which led to increased costs for many individuals.
So the cost increase is directly related to the loss of subsidies. How does this affect the overall healthcare landscape in the U.S.?
The reporting suggests that the decline in Obamacare enrollment is likely related to the higher costs faced by individuals after the subsidies expired. This has significant implications for healthcare access and coverage.
That's a concerning trend. Are there any indications of how this might be addressed in the future?
The reports don't specify any immediate plans to reinstate the subsidies or address the cost issue. The situation is being closely monitored by healthcare analysts and policymakers.
Okay, understood. It seems we've covered all the stories.
That's right. I think we've had a comprehensive discussion on these key stories.
Indeed we have. Thank you for the detailed conversation, Sonia.
Thank you, Simon. It's been a pleasure discussing these stories with you.